Welcome into South Florida Daily. I'm Megan Hayes. Today we are coming to you from the Cultural Council for Palm Beach County. They have an amazing exhibition going on now through April 6th called She, Her, Hers. The exhibition is located in the main gallery. It focuses exclusively on the work of women artists. It's a way to celebrate those artists who are often underrepresented in galleries and museums. For hours and exhibition information, visit palmbeachculture.com. Just a few more weeks to take advantage of this amazing exhibit, so don't miss out. Thanks for joining us here on South Florida Daily. We have a great lineup of stories for you today, so let's go ahead and dive into the fun. Sports, scenery, wildlife, we've got it all. This is South Florida Daily.
South Florida Daily is on the move with Palm Tran. In the middle of the 2023 winter polo season, you have the U.S. Open Women's Polo Championship. It's the same tournament that Hope won when she was just 14 years old. For the last couple years, the tournament has been held at the National Polo Center in Florida. It's really this kind of premier destination for polo.
The grandstands are accommodating. It's a great venue. You've got the, Mallet Grill, the whole, club. It really is a remarkable spot there to host events and to watch a game.
It's where all of the top polo players in the world come to compete. So it's not that it was surprising that there was such a talented field for the 2023 Women's Open. It just kind of felt like no matter who won it, they were going to solidify their legacy in the sport.
You're on the field, you're playing against Hazel Jackson and Hope Arellano, and you look on the sidelines and see Nina Clarkin watching your game. You're like, oh, we're here. We made it.
Hope Arellano was on Team LaFay with one of the only female 10-goalers in the world, Hazel Jackson, and 5-goal American polo player Pamela Flanagan and Winnie Branscombe. Hope and LaFay ended up making it to the semifinals where they had to face Dawn Jones and San Saba. And for Dawn, it's just so wild because here you have this former 14-year-old that you took under your wing because of Sunny Hale, and now she's actually competing against you to try to make it to the finals. So kind of this full circle moment for Dawn, but Hope actually ends up defeating San Saba and Dawn in the semifinals to punch their ticket to the U.S. Open Women's Polo Championship. In the final, LaFay went up against Dundas, and the whole game was Hope.
Hope down in front. Here she goes. Hope in the red zone. Can she get it done? Oh, look at that. What a goal. What a shot. Look at this. She peels off to go get on another horse because she knows that one's going through the post. Arellano, she's right there in the goal now. She's going to take her shot. She's going to send it on through and give her team a 2-goal lead. She is just playing absolutely lights out polo here today. What a game this turns out to be.
Hope ended up scoring 6 goals in the win, and she was named the MVP, and she was just kind of on top of the world in that moment, but you would never know because she's just one of the most humble people you'll ever meet.
No, it's amazing, honestly, and to play with Pam, Winnie, and Hazel is, it's absolutely incredible. Hazel's been one of my idols for forever.
A couple of months after Hope won the Women's Open, the news finally broke, and the association announced that by the end of 2023, Hope Arellano would become the first female American polo player since Sunny Hale to have a women's outdoor handicap of 10 goals.
Hope won't brag about herself, but I definitely will brag for her. I think she's incredible, and she's my hero. To be able to go, and she doesn't think about it at all. You're right. She literally just goes and does it just because she wants to and she can.
Hope Arellano has continued to maintain her poise and her determination to become a pro. I support her 100% any way I can, but it doesn't seem like I have to do much for her because she's already doing it. I can just sit back and look and smile and think about that call that Sunny made to me when she was 13. It's like, Dawn, we got to get this kid in here. She's awesome. She'll be amazing on the field. You won't believe it. She's the next 10-goal women's player. I've had some interesting moments just on my own, by myself on a horse at the ranch in San Saba, and suddenly Sunny just enters my mind like that. It's as powerful as if she were sitting right there with me on a horse next to me.
South Florida Daily is on the move with Palm Tran.
Thanks for hanging out with us here on South Florida Daily. If you like what you see, check us out on social. We're on Facebook and Instagram at SouthFL Daily.
Everyone's favorite waterfront music festival is coming back to downtown West Palm Beach this May. It is almost time for Sunfest. We're at least learning about the lineup and advanced ticket sales. Diana Craven is here. She's the executive director of Sunfest. Diana, this is the 40th year for the festival. What can people look forward to?
We're really excited to focus on the community this year for our 40th anniversary. Sunfest was started by the community for the community, so that's our biggest focus this year. Not only an amazing line of talent for our guests to come enjoy, but we're bringing back some of fan favorites of our art district. We'll have great activations on site for people to enjoy, great culinary experiences, as well as a new community stage with more local artists on top of our national acts.
Okay, so we got a sneak peek at the lineup a few weeks ago. You guys released Cole Swindell, Nelly, that was a big one, but now we have the official lineup. Who else is on that list? Who else can we look forward to seeing?
Opening for Nelly on the Ford stage is Shaggy, as we're really excited to have a great strong lineup between the two of them.
Very cool. Saturday, you released Cole Swindell, I believe, early.
Correct.
So we're going a little country on Saturday?
Country is Saturday. Dylan Scott will open for Cole Swindell. And then earlier on that stage, we have the Revivalists for some alternative rock. Opposite that, on Saturday, we have Young Gravy and Bryce Fine. So it's really an eclectic mix. Other days, we have Third Eye Blind that we announced. And opening for Third Eye Blind is Dashboard Confessionals, and prior to that is Boys Like Girls and Valley. So we're really excited to do a great 90s themes night then as well.
Okay, as a 90s baby, I'm really appreciating this Sunday lineup. That sounds like my favorite one. Okay, what can people expect this year? You said 40th anniversary. That is huge for Sunfest. The last few years, we've seen the Art Village kind of come and go. Is it back this year?
The art is returning. In honor of our 40th, we're trying to go back to historic kind of attributes that the festival has had over the year and fan favorite activities. So the art will be returning. We're calling it the Creative Art Village this year, engaging art from our local artists of South Florida, the community, and some interactive experiences where you can kind of get your hands dirty and see artists with their wares as well performing. And then a new activity area of the state is adding a third stage. It's going to be a community-focused stage. So we can really focus on more community artists and showcase what Palm Beach County and South Florida has to offer.
This is more than just a music festival. This is a community event. This is a celebration of all that we have to offer here in Palm Beach County. What do you want people to know about Sunfest and when they come out and they're in the midst of it all?
Sunfest it's kind of something that's just kind of grown from the community. Starting 40 years ago, residents of the town decided we're going to come together and put on a celebration. And that's just kind of grown over the years, and it's taken a life of its own. But there's only 4 staff members. It's myself and 3 other full-time members that put this on, and we rely on the community. There's 2,100 volunteers that organize the festival, 25 committees, and then we have a really strong board of directors that help govern this for us. So when you come to Sunfest, you're coming to an event that's been put on by your neighbors, put on by friends and family that love Palm Beach County and want to see Palm Beach County continue to thrive.
What do you love about Sunfest?
I think obviously I've been with Sunfest a long time, and it's the camaraderie of the people that all come together, where you see people that you grew up with that you haven't seen all year. You get to see everybody back at Sunfest. It's a reunion of sorts for our community. And aside from that, it's the music of not the headliners. It's those support bands that you might have never heard of, the national headliners. You would say, oh, who's this? I'll check them out. I've seen Lizzo. I saw Ed Sheeran at Sunfest. Those are all performers that no one had heard of, and I was able to experience them before they hit it big.
I love it. A great lineup. More information can be found at sunfest.com.
Yep, that's it.
Sunfest.com. All right, I'm so excited. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Imagine beasts with zeal and grace, the melodic choruses of a flock. Envision coming face to face with Goliath. Encounter a brave but curious soul. Witness gentle giants coming into sight while you explore their world. Or dive into an underwater collage laden with fascination and zest, where an incredible number of species exist, and almost as many ways to experience it. From the sea to the sky, immerse yourself in the peace and calm that only nature can provide. Discover the perfect place. Discover the finest wildlife at thepalmbeaches.com.
Thanks for joining us here today on South Florida Daily. If you like these stories, we've got much more for you on our website, southfldaily.com, and give us a follow on social. We're on Facebook and Instagram at SouthFLDaily. We'll be right back.
The South Florida Daily set is sponsored by El Dorado Furniture.
Welcome back into South Florida Daily. One of the most majestic things about living in South Florida, you never know what you're going to see when you're out on the water, including manatees. Manatees love to flock to one particular part of Palm Beach County during the cold months. Let's take a look at Manatee Lagoon.
Manatees belong to an order of marine mammals called the sirenians. They come from an ancient word called a siren, and the old mariners used to believe that manatees were mermaids. So the sirenians comes from that word sirens, and there are actually 4 species of sirenians worldwide. 3 species of manatees and 1 species of dugong. The 3 species of manatees are the West Indian manatee, the West African manatee, and the Amazonian manatee. And right here in Florida, we have the West Indian manatee, but we also have a subspecies of that manatee here called the Florida manatee. Manatees can get up to 1,200, 1,300 pounds. In very rare cases, they can get up to 3,500, 3,600 pounds, up to 13 or 14 feet long. And the Florida manatee is the largest of all the manatee species. The Florida manatee is nearly entirely herbivorous, which means it feeds on aquatic plants, and they're very, very partial to something called seagrass. And that's another very important resource that is vital for us to protect, is for these manatees to be able to feed on seagrass for generations to come. Things like oil spills, pollution in the water, pesticides, these all have the ability to severely deplete the seagrass on which these manatees depend. Now, manatees can feed on up to 1/10 of their body weight in seagrass every day. So you can imagine that a manatee that weighs 1,000 pounds is eating up to 100 pounds of seagrass every single day. In some parts of the world today, they're actually still hunted and poached, which is really, really sad. But thankfully, places like Florida, places all over the world, manatees and dugongs are now very, very well protected. So we can hope that future generations can see manatees for many years to come. Everybody loves manatees, and one of the best places to see them in the Palm Beaches is at the Florida Power and Light Power Plant at Manatee Lagoon, especially in winter.
Manatee Lagoon is a free public facility where visitors can come meet manatees up close during the cold winter months, and at any other time of year enjoy our new exhibits, our educational information that we have inside, do fun programming, and basically enjoy themselves while they're learning about the Lake Worth Lagoon and the marine creatures that call this area home. Since manatee season began, we've been eagerly waiting for a lot of manatees to huddle at Manatee Lagoon, and it's finally happening with the cold snap that we've been seeing. All of the manatees are gathered here. This morning we had more than 52 congregated in our outflow, and this is such an exciting time for our visitors because typically during manatee season, if it's not cold, they'll come, they'll see a couple swim by, you know, one here and there, but having a reliable way to see them and come and know that at any given moment during your visit you're going to see dozens of manatees, that is so exciting for them. And just to hear the visitors' enthusiasm and the moms that come with their kids and see them get excited, their eyes light up, it's just so heartwarming. In particular, because 2021 was such a challenging year for the manatees, we believe that this is so important for especially young children to come and to meet them and to learn what the next generation can do to protect these creatures, to help them in the wild, to support them, to learn the steps that they can take to keep these mammals safe, to keep these waters pristine and clean. It's so important. We can all do something to help, and here at Manatee Lagoon, you can come find out what those steps are. You can come meet them. You can be inspired by them. There's nothing like meeting a manatee up close in person. The magic of meeting a manatee is something that children can remember forever, and that's why our mission here is education and awareness and inspiring the next generation to come learn about the marine mammals.
Want to see your business featured on South Florida Daily? Send us an email, info@southfldaily.com. We love highlighting local spots. We'll be right back. You can spot manatees in Florida waterways all year long, but they kind of go a little bit quiet during the summer months. That means the time is now. Act quick. Go to Manatee Lagoon and see our friends before they start to migrate.
Yesterday was particularly exciting with the manatee released by Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. The manatee was rescued 1 year ago this week in the waters around Manatee Lagoon. They observed back then it was severely injured from a suspected boat strike. I mean, its back was really torn up. And when you see the photos, you are like, wow, boats can really do some serious damage to manatees. The manatee was rescued a year ago, taken to Miami Seaquarium where it was rehabilitated. They named it Lemur. And the juvenile manatee was deemed healthy enough to put back into the water. Typically what they'll do is they'll put the manatee back where it was rescued. Since it was rescued here at Manatee Lagoon, they were able to put it in the water. We happened to have a crowd of visitors that day because they knew that this was the time of the year to come see the sea cows, and it was so exciting for them. People cheered when the manatee went into the water, and it was exciting to see everybody be so enthusiastic about conservation in action. A couple of weeks ago, we had a rescue on site here, and what will happen is our staff will observe the manatees. We know the signs to look for to see if they're in distress, and we 2 weeks ago noticed a manatee that was in possible cold stress because it was breathing too frequently. You can see that typically manatees will do, every 2 to 3 minutes they'll come up, take a breath. That manatee was coming up like every 15 seconds. So our staff knew something was wrong. They immediately alerted FWC. FWC came, placed a net around it, and rescued it. What's happening today is we saw there was a manatee in distress that was swimming sideways, which is a potential boat strike. Sometimes if there's a punctured lung, its lungs will fill up with air and it can't dive down deep and it swims sideways. That's a problem because manatees need to be able to dive down to get to that seagrass on the bottom of the Lake Worth Lagoon. If they can't get to that seagrass, that becomes a problem. They can starve. So our staff kept an eye on it, but these are wild marine mammals. They're going to do what they want to do, and this marine mammal swam away. So we've been eagerly looking for this manatee. Everybody's got their eyes out. FWC's got their boat of marine partners out there with them looking for it. So they're observing, hoping to find this manatee in distress because it needs help. It needs to be rescued. So we're keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that they can rescue it and take it to be rehabilitated. Our name is Manatee Lagoon. People come here and they love the manatees, they want to see them. But one thing we also know is that during the warmer months, we may not have manatees here. So we're always looking for ways to keep the people who come here engaged, to keep visitors excited, to inspire them at any time of year, whether a manatee's here or not. So what we did is this year, we've really tried to put in exhibits and new attractions, things that people can do, things that are enjoyable for kids. We have a new 3D augmented reality solar exhibit where kids can scan the QR code and meet Sunny the Junior Solar Tree under our solar trees out front. Within our facility, we have a new virtual visit, a new self-guided tour option where people can come at their own convenience at any time of the day. They can scan the QR codes on the signs, learn about ways to protect manatees, learn facts about manatees, learn about their biology, and the videos are fun. They're very high energy, sound effects, TikTok style, keep those young people engaged and learning as they're doing it. We like to call it infotainment because we know that in order to inspire future generations, you have to make them really care. You have to make them passionate about the subject material. And manatees, they're really charismatic megafauna. That's a fun scientific term. It's a way to say people love them. However, if you come during the summer and you don't see a manatee, this is a way that you can learn about them and still be inspired by them. One thing that's truly amazing about the Palm Beaches is that we have such a marine biodiversity. The Lake Worth Lagoon as an estuary is truly fantastic to not only see manatees, but to see all kinds of creatures like sea turtles, eels, octopus, spotted eagle stingrays swim by here all the time. One thing that's also special about Manatee Lagoon is even if you don't see a manatee, you're bound to see something in the water. It's almost like a living aquarium of wild marine aquatic creatures. For example, on a given day during the summer, you can see 18 spotted eagle rays swim by. You can see nurse sharks, you can see bull sharks, you can see angelfish, you can see everything. And it's so spectacular to have this facility right on the water, up against not only a wonderful place for manatees to come with a natural seagrass bed around the area in the Lake Worth Lagoon, but also to have the Gulf Stream coming through Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County is the closest landmass to the Gulf Stream, which is that wonderful current that brings all kinds of marine mammals here. And having the marine life come close to Manatee Lagoon allows our visitors to see it up close firsthand. There are people who may never want to get in the water and scuba dive and snorkel, yet here at Manatee Lagoon, they can see all kinds of fish and sea life that they would normally have to go deep dive down to see. That's why we love having this facility right here, because it allows our visitors to visit for free, to see the marine biodiversity, and to be inspired to learn more, to protect them, and to really preserve the habitat that they have in the wild and our wonderful natural environment. It's a really special thing to visit Manatee Lagoon, so we hope that you add it to your itinerary when you're in the Palm Beaches. We're in Riviera Beach and we're open 7 days a week during manatee season. I invite you to come, experience it for yourself. There's nothing like being here in person and having fun and learning about the environment.
Do you want to see your business featured on South Florida Daily? Send us an email, info@southfldaily.com. We love showcasing the best things to see and do in South Florida.
Thanks for joining us for another great episode of South Florida Daily. Hopefully you discovered a new place that you want to check out and enjoy here in our little slice of paradise. Don't forget to give us a follow on social @SouthFLDaily. We post giveaways, behind the scenes, and of course, more South Florida content. We'll see you back here tomorrow at noon on Fox 29.
Visit us online and at all Eldorado Furniture showrooms.